This is exactly right.
Get into the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event and get away with a deal so right, it almost feels wrong.
Right now, you can get great deals on Hyundai's most popular models,
including the adventure-ready SUVs like the Hyundai Santa Fe or Santa Fe Hybrid and the Tucson or Tucson Hybrid.
Plus, there's the bold and stylish Elantra loaded with the latest tech.
Or go all-electric with the Ioniq 5 or the Ioniq 9.
So get down to your local Hyundai dealer and get away with a deal you'll love during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Visit HyundaiUSA.com for details.
Goodbye. Capture your favorite summer feeling with Pandora Jewelry.
Discover a collection inspired by the sunshine, freedom, and moments that make the season unforgettable.
From sun-kissed metals to personalized pieces ready to be engraved with your summer mantra.
Each design moves with you from beach days to golden nights and every memory in between.
Shop Pandora Jewelry's new summer collection in-store or online at pandora.net and let your summer unfold. Goodbye.
Summer is for adventures, road trips, and adding a whole lot of miles to your car.
That's why it's worth stopping at Valvoline Instant Oil Change first.
Their trained techs help you get road trip ready with an oil change and an 18-point maintenance check included with every oil change, checking your tire pressure, wipers, lights, and more.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change techs complete over 270 hours of training, so your car's in capable hands.
Best part? You can stay in your car and you're in and out in about 15 minutes.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Change wisely.
Goodbye.
Hello.
And welcome
to My Favorite Murder.
That's Georgia Hardstark.
That is Karen Kilgariff.
And we're about to podcast at you.
That's right. I've been in the backyard just now trying to make friends with the crows in my neighborhood.
Oh.
Yeah. We got a big bag of peanuts and we've been shaking them at them and like throwing them and leaving them. And I think it's happening. I think I think they know us now.
Are you going to train them to go find money for you and bring it back to a drawer in your office?
Bring me shiny things. Yeah. Like that's my dream, to be friends with like crows. So I think it's working.
You're making it happen.
Yeah. What's up with you?
How am I celebrating the spring equinox? I mean, it was such a pretty day today. Mm-hmm. Like light breeze, bright skies, real nice, real spring is here kind of vibe outside today.
Definitely springy.
It feels positive.
Yeah. Are you ready to like have a new season of your life?
To self-tan? Are you ready to go to the tanning beds every day?
Is that what we're doing now? Is that the new trend?
Yeah, that's our new thing. To get deeply tan by April 30. I don't know. How will spring be different? I guess I'll leave my house more.
Ooh.
That's the key.
That's a good challenge. Mm-hmm. Do you try to leave your house like once a day to like run an errand or like...
I have to walk those dogs.
Okay. That's good. That's positive. That's definitely helped me.
It is. It can make it kind of fun. Like you're just walking around and like, what's up here? What's going on over here?
It's helped me that like I can't take a nap because it's like, well, it's a half an hour until Cookies walk. So
stay awake.
My naps are 2 hours, by the way. Some people could do a half an hour nap and they're like fine for the day, but like not me. Yeah. So just stay awake for Cookie.
Powering through. Yep. Dogs obligate us to participate in this thing called life.
That's why I got one.
Yeah.
Cats like beg us not to.
Cats are like, I don't care what you do. I hope you die soon.
I have been walking Mo on a leash and a harness outside in our backyard a little bit.
And what's the result of that? What's happening there?
Nothing yet. Fleas? No fleas yet.
Oh, just to like, so he can get out there, but you don't have to risk him getting eaten by a coyote.
Yeah. Oh my God. There was like so many coyotes over the weekend in our neighborhood. There's always coyotes here. So yeah, just because he wants to go outside. He's such a bad boy. He needs some energy, like, expended. So we take him outside now, or I take him outside now.
You should get him one of those like horse training octagons where you run him in a circle.
That's a great idea.
Right? Just keep on building things on your property for Mo to experience nature inside of.
I mean, what else is there to buy when you don't have children?
Right? Exactly. Just fill it up. The coyotes are serious, though. I told you the story of the one that was walking up to my back sliding glass door. I was just like, sir, we can't be doing this.
He's going to start knocking. You should start trying to be friends with him. I'll be friends with crows.
He's going to be like, hey, I want to know if you needed your windows cleaned. Or it's like, what?
Hey, can I crash on your couch tonight?
Whose friend are you? Get away from my door. Get out of here.
I have a TV show.
Let's hear about it. I have one too.
Recommend. Okay. Maybe it's the same. What if it's the same? Is it Diarra from Detroit?
No.
Okay. Diarra, Diarra from Detroit. It's on BET. It is so perfect for us. This incredible actress, writer, comedian, Diarra Kilpatrick. It's her show. The premise is she has a one-night stand and gets ghosted by this dude, and then puts it together that the dude is the kid who got kidnapped in the 90s, the like 5-year-old kid who got kidnapped in the 90s. And something's happened to him and she has to track him down and not find him. Like he's like the most, America's Most Wanted, like unsolved mysteries kid.
Right.
And she has to go find him.
That's hilarious.
But it's also like, it's really dark. It's really funny. It's very much like Search Party was.
Yeah, that's the first thing it made me think of.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Got those vibes. It's so good. Like, it's just really fucking good.
That sounds like a very cool show. I want to see that.
Right?
For sure.
She's trying to hunt down a missing child that she hooked up with. And like, that sounds gross. That's not what I meant, but it's really good.
A one-time missing child.
Yes.
We get it. But also the passion with which people go about being citizen sleuths for dating.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to save it up for true crime. That's just what people are doing these days when they're trying to figure out what their situationship is, where they are, and why they won't speak to them anymore.
Like, just tell me. And she's going through a bad divorce. So she's a little like not doing well on the love front.
Unstable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's ugly. It's ugly. Tough. Oh, that sounds amazing.
Diarra from Detroit. What about you? What do you have?
Mine it's a TV show called Renegade Nell. Mm-hmm. And it's about a woman, and she is like, I think she's Irish. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, she becomes a highway woman. So it's like she's a highway robber in like the 1700s. Ugh. It's Orla from Dairy Girls.
I love Orla.
So that actress, Louisa Harland, is a completely different person, which obviously we know she's not Orla.
Right.
But she is Orla.
Think of. I know.
It's all we know her as. And all of a sudden she is this badass woman who's gone off to find her own fortune. Her family thinks she's dead. And she has a run-in with some bad guys on the highway and suddenly has like superpowers, but she doesn't know why. So no man can kill her.
Like real superpowers? Like sci-fi?
Yeah, you got to see it.
Oh my God.
And they have all these like special effects. When I saw the trailer, I was like, put on playlist. I don't think I'd ever put anything up on a playlist. Yeah. And I was like, save for the playlist or whatever. Yeah. It's really great and girl powery, and then just kind of like very well done.
What's it called?
It's called Renegade Nell.
Renegade Nell.
And if I'm not mistaken, not the superpower part. I think they blew that part up. Obviously, but I think it's based on a true story.
Yeah. It sounds like Annie Oakley-ish, right? It's based on a true supernatural story.
Yeah, it's based on a story of, superheroes. You would think that in the first couple articles about it, it would say
based on.
So
yeah, so maybe not.
Probably not.
Maybe, what do they say? Like culled from real events?
Yeah. But even then, that seems not appropriate here. But anyway, it's just like, it's fun. And it's like watching Orla leave Derry and go off and like become a great actress.
Yeah, like fulfill her destiny.
It's wonderful.
Okay, I love it. Do we have any corrections corners? Wait, you said a town wrong last week.
Oh, yeah?
Or a state or something like that. I don't remember.
Sorry.
That's I didn't mean to call you out, but you're correct. That is
right.
That is corrections corner now.
I bet I've never been there, and it seemed right to me. Those capitals, when they're just the initials like that, make me panic.
Me too.
Yeah, I feel like you have the same thing where it's like all of a sudden it's like, I don't know, is this South Dakota?
Yeah. Is it Missouri or is it Michigan? I'm married to a Michigander. I should fucking know, and I don't.
Yeah, you have a little bit of a bias. Like, I think I want it to be Michigan. Yeah. But what if it's just incorrect.
Like North Dakota and Nebraska? Like, come on. Actually, those are obvious.
Oh, do you want to brag about the news that Amy Poehler said that this was her favorite podcast?
That's wild. So tell the people.
Well, they had this podcast conference that they have every year called Podcast Movement. Although sometimes I like to call it Podcast Uprising because it sounds a little bit sinister, you have to admit.
I like that.
Where
Yeah.
it's like, let's all the podcasters get together and start some shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, she was a keynote speaker, if I'm not mistaken. And in her keynote speech, she said that this was her favorite podcast. And I didn't know about it until the next day. And then Aaron Brown told me and showed me the Instagram post. And I kind of sat there for a second and then I got like choked up because
No, it's weird. It's crazy.
it's Amy Poehler. We obviously adore her and have for a long time.
Yeah. She's one of the greats.
Yeah, she's one of the greats and has one of the best gifts there will ever be, which is her at the Oscars with her sweatshirt on, throwing up the deuces. It's so funny. That's the first thing I thought of when I heard that. I was just like, her? It was great. So thank you, Amy Poehler. You're our favorite too.
Yeah. You're our favorite podcast too.
In this podcast called Life.
Oh my God. Life is one big podcast, really.
It really is.
Okay. Well, speaking of podcasts, we have a podcast network even.
Yeah.
It's called Exactly Right Media. Hey, here are some updates.
Well, the first one is that the 4th episode of Butterfly King is available right now. Hosts CJ and Becky are back at the Vrana Palace in Sofia, Bulgaria, where a new piece of evidence allows yet another suspect to slither into the frame. Follow the show wherever you like to listen so you don't miss an episode.
Such a good show. And more exciting true crime podcast news. Episode 1 of Tenfold More Wicked's 11th frickin' season is here. Kate Winkler-Dawson, the queen of true crime podcasting, heads to Portsmouth, Rhode Island to investigate the death of a puritanical pioneer who mysteriously died in the town that she founded. You guys have to listen.
History, murder. What more do you want?
Truly.
On That's Messed Up, Kara and Lisa cover Missing Pieces, which is an SVU'd episode from season 13 in 2011. You can go to that'smesseduplive.com for Lisa's live comedy tour dates. She is performing at clubs and colleges all around the country, and she is so truly hilarious. You have to see
So funny.
Lisa Traeger live. If you have not yet, please go support her live. You will not be sorry you did it.
And the newest episode of MFM Animated by Nick Terry is now playing on the Exactly Right YouTube channel. So please subscribe to that. The episode's called Emotional Support Oxen and comes from MFM episode 254 from December of all the way back in 2020. And it's from a live show too. I love that he's just like pulling. You never know where he's going to go. You know, I love that.
It's great. Also, just so you know, we've restocked the MFM store with 2 popular tote bags that sold out over the holidays. So if you wanted to buy the SSD GM tote bag or the Still Life Skull tote bag, go onto that website, which is myfavoritemurder.com, and go shopping.
I feel like we have such a tote bag audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, are you going to the library to get books? Are you going to a farmer's market to get your like weekly produce? It's like, we're such tote bag people.
We're tote bag people, that's for sure. Did your dad subscribe to PBS at one point in the 90s and now you have a tote bag to prove it?
That's right. You have that one New Yorker bag that everyone, including me, has that has like the monster and the build. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah. You're like, oh, that person's smart. Cool.
Does Bloomingdale's make tote bags out of their small, medium, and large bag design? I wonder.
They must.
They should.
And then the one that's like the takeout food bag that says like, thank you, thank you, thank you. But they made it into a tote bag. Like
smart.
Genius.
So good.
Genius.
What else could they do?
My favorite murder tote bags.
Hey,
there we go. That wasn't planned.
No, it wasn't. Because I was actually like, let's think of 5 new good tote bags that are like the thank you tote bag.
What could it be?
What about a tote bag that looks like a shiny garbage bag with the yellow pull at the top?
And is scented with like Febreze.
It has a really strong lemon scent that you're trying to get away from all the time.
Oh, I hate it to like cover up whatever weird shit you have in there because you've got to like throw your banana away from Friday and
your gym
Tuesday.
shoes are in there. Ew, Mrs. Febreze is here.
I always think I'm going to like be a tote bag, like workout person and be really good at it. And then I find like the socks from 3 months ago in the back of my car in the tote bag that I was like, this is the new tote bag.
Yes.
It's going to make me who I am.
And in a way it does, because when you find that tote bag so many months later and you look inside, there's like little pieces of paper at the bottom or like an old calendar or something.
Earplugs. I find a lot of earplugs.
And you're like, wait, where'd I get these? Oh, that flight. Oh, I took these to this game. Oh, this. And you like piece your life backwards through what's like old pennies and a piece of gum.
Or the weirdest thing, when you find a face mask in your coat or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
From the pandemic. And you're like, I haven't worn this in a while.
From deep pandemic. But people are still getting COVID. So you can slap it right back on.
Go ahead.
My cousin just got it. And I was just like, oh, yeah.
Shut up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I don't want that.
I know, me either. Oh, well.
That's right. You know what that means? That means it's time to start our stories.
Ding dong.
When Karen yells, oh, well, in a kind of panicked, like nervous.
I mean, we have a platform, but we can't cure COVID. And that is the issue.
You guys, we tried. You know we tried.
Capture your favorite summer feeling with Pandora Jewelry.
Discover a collection inspired by the sunshine, freedom, and unforgettable moments that make the season so special.
Whether you're planning a weekend getaway, gathering with friends, or simply soaking up every sunny day, Pandora Jewelry offers meaningful pieces designed to celebrate your unique story.
From sun-kissed metals that catch the light beautifully to personalized pieces ready to be engraved with your summer mantra, every detail is crafted to help you express yourself with confidence and style.
Explore charms, bracelets, rings, necklaces, and more, thoughtfully designed to complement every adventure and occasion.
Each design moves with you, from beach days and road trips to rooftop dinners, golden nights, and every memory in between.
Layer your favorite looks, mark life's meaningful moments, and create lasting reminders of a season you'll never want to forget.
Find the pieces that reflect who you are and where this summer takes you.
Shop Pandora Jewelry's new summer collection in-store or online at pandora.net and let your summer unfold.
Goodbye. This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace.
Every successful small business starts with someone saying, I wonder if people would actually buy this.
Squarespace gives you everything you need to find out.
From consultations to events and experiences, you can showcase your skills with a customizable website designed to attract clients and grow your business.
With Squarespace's collection of cutting-edge design tools, anyone can build a beautiful, professional online presence that perfectly fits their brand or business.
Get paid on time with professional invoices and online payments. Plus, streamline your workflow with built-in appointment scheduling and email marketing tools.
Head to squarespace.com/murder for a free trial.
And when you're ready to launch, use offer code MURDER to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Goodbye.
Buying clothes is easy. That's why everyone's always doing it.
But finding clothes you actually want to wear is the hard part.
Get all your favorite elevated essentials at Quince.
Quince specializes in effortless, high-quality essentials like ultra-soft organic cotton and premium Mongolian cashmere sweaters. They're beautifully tailored and built to last. And it's not just apparel. Quince also brings that same everyday elevation to everything they offer, from hotel-quality bedding and bath to kitchen staples, essentials, and thoughtfully designed furniture.
They work directly with ethical factories, so you're paying for quality, not brand markup.
It's so true that they have wonderful items that aren't just clothes. I have like 3 of their 100% mulberry silk pillowcases. I've bought throws from there. I've bought bedding from there. And it is just as great quality as their clothes and super affordable.
Upgrade your everyday.
Download the Quince app for app-exclusive offers or go to quince.com/MFM. Get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
Now available in Canada and the UK too.
QUINCE.com/MFM.
Goodbye. Are you first this week?
Yes, I am. Because, as I promised you, today I'm going to be covering part 2 of The Butchers of the Bayou. Don't look excited and clap, because this guy is a pure piece of shit.
I'm sorry to clap, because I am not clapping for the serial killer or for his actions.
Of course.
But it is so satisfying to get a part 2 when you really enjoyed a part 1. On this show especially, where there's a lot of dangling part 2s that never come to be, on my part as well, where we're always like, we should do that later. And then we don't. And you turned around and did it.
Those dangling part twos, we can't have those. We can't have those.
Now that spring has sprung, let's not do that anymore.
You know what I miss? And Alejandra, can you please remind me that I miss this? Is when I used to do episodes of like three stories of like handwritten notes that turned into clues or whatever. Remember I used to do that when I couldn't find a full story and I was panicking and it was the day of our recording in my apartment and I didn't know what to do.
Absolutely. No, those were good where it was like a medley episode.
Yeah, with a theme.
Here's some examples of. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Okay. Those are easy too. Okay, let's do that.
Stop on-air producing.
This is episode number what?
500 and
422. Okay. So that means back when we left off in episode 420, Baton Rouge police had just apprehended serial killer Derek Todd Lee. That was in May of 2003, right? With Lee behind bars, police are sure that they've finally gotten the monster responsible for all the murders that took place in the area between 1992 and 2003. And they're kind of like bragging, like, hey, we're heroes. Hey, we finally found this guy, applauding themselves, right?
Yeah.
However, DNA and other evidence links Derek Todd Lee to only 7 of the murders they're investigating. And to the police's surprise and horror, at least another 6 murders that they thought he had committed were not a DNA match to him.
Wow. Wait, how many murders were there?
Well, so there was like 60 some missing and murdered women in that time period in Baton Rouge, or in the area. So they were thinking that he had committed like 10 plus murders, but a whole 6 of them don't match up to him.
Horrifying.
Terrifying. So then just 5 months later, after he had been apprehended in October of 2003, a group of ATV riders are on a ride through a remote wooded area when they come across the body of a 45-year-old woman. She's a mother of 3. Her name is Johnny Mae Williams. And she's also a sex worker. And this butcher targeted sex workers in the area for sure.
Right.
Her cause of death is determined to have been from blunt force trauma. Both of her, this is classic psychotic fucked upness. Like nothing special about him except it was all happening at the same time in this one area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just a psychopath. He had cut her hands off post-mortem. And this discovery confirms the police's worst fear. There is another serial killer in Baton Rouge, and he's still on the loose.
Ugh.
So let's go all the way back to 1994. On the morning of March 21st, 1994, police respond to a call at St. James Place, which is a retirement home in Baton Rouge. They enter the private apartment of 81-year-old retiree Anne Bryan to find that her throat had been slashed and she had been stabbed about 50 times. And just like that, no leads, case goes cold. Like there's nothing for them to go on.
Ugh.
Awful. 5 years later, on January 4th, 1999, the body of a 29-year-old sex worker named Catherine Hall is found at the end of a dead-end street near a construction site, and her body is laid right beneath a dead-end sign, almost like this killer's fucking with the police. She's left naked. There are ligature marks on her neck indicating she's been strangled, and she's covered in deliberate lacerations. So this killer likes to do post-mortem cutting. It's very sick. By the lack of blood at the scene, police suspect the cuts were made post-mortem, perhaps at a different location before being dumped at this construction site. It's a horrifying scene, made even more disturbing by the sick joke of the body being placed beneath the dead-end sign. But police find hair on the body, believed to have belonged to the killer. But because Catherine was a sex worker with a criminal background, her murder receives little media or police attention. It's like when Derek Todd Lee was attacking all these LSU students and local women who weren't in the sex work occupation got so much attention, but these women are throwaway to the police, so they're not getting as much attention in the media.
Also, there's that piece that sometimes is true, not always, that there's just no one to fight for. If a sex worker is in a situation where they are say just like cut off from their family or because they're on drugs or because whatever. Like that idea that these murderers are preying on the people that have the least backing. Yeah. The least like anybody that will fight for them.
Totally. Absolutely. I think that's part of it, right? Is like they just want to kill. And so they find the most vulnerable victims they can. Yeah. Who have no resources at all. It's terrible. Okay. But then a third murder occurs in the spring of 1999. And it gets much more buzz because the victim is the wife of a local attorney. And it's almost like if he hadn't murdered this woman, I wonder how much longer he would have gotten under the radar.
He would have Green Rivered his way through.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, it's such a,
Yeah. So Hardy Schmidt, she's 52. It's May of 1999. And little does she know that a man has been stalking her for the last 3 weeks, driving around and trying to find her during her morning jogs. And at about 5:30 a.m. on the morning of Sunday, May 30th, 1999, he finds her jogging along Quail Run Drive in Baton Rouge. And it's a safe neighborhood. She lives in a good community. I think she lives in a gated community. So, this is so fucking awful. Get ready. A man drives up behind Hardy. He hits her with his car. It sends her flying into the ditch alongside the road. We've had these stories before where like someone hits a kid with a fucking bike to incapacitate. Like I don't stop thinking about that.
Yeah.
He gets out, zip ties her around the neck and forces her into the car and drives away with her. He takes her to a park nearby where he rapes her. And as soon as he's finished, he uses the zip tie to strangle her to death. 2 days later, on April 2nd, 1999, a bicyclist riding along a bayou bike trail off of Highway 61 in St. James Parish spots Hardy's body. She's been dumped roughly 35 miles away from where she was last seen. Like the victim before her, she's left naked, her body's mutilated. And despite the extra efforts from police, the few leads they have bring them no closer to finding the culprit. The case again goes cold, and the community is now living in fear of another attack. I mean, just imagine thinking you live in a safe neighborhood and something like that happening.
Right. And it's already been happening, whether it's to students or whatever. It's almost like there's something out there that won't be stopped. Yeah. That's so creepy.
Yeah. Like he got caught, but you're not safe yet,
Yeah. It's still happening.
The killing spree continues for the next 2 years, 1999 and 2000, claiming the lives of another 3 women. First is the murder of 36-year-old Joyce Williams, who was killed on November 12th, 1999. It's a really gruesome murder and sticks out in police minds because the killer had severed Joyce's leg post-mortem. Like, what kind of sick fuck does something like this? The next murder is of 52-year-old Lillian Robinson in January of 2000. Her naked body is dumped in a local fishing hole, and a fisherman eventually finds her body. And then 1 month later, in February of 2000, the third victim in this string of murders is 38-year-old Marilyn Nevels, killed in late October of 2000. Her body is discarded in the Mississippi River and discovered on Halloween Day in the year 2000. So as the murders continue for the next 3 years, the people of Baton Rouge are paralyzed with fear. So these murders are happening that I just told you about concurrent with Derek Todd Lee's murder. This is right before he's caught. So he's finally caught. And then the first murder I told you about, Johnny Mae Williams, happens. So with Derek Todd Lee behind bars and several cold cases left unsolved, police start looking for similarities between the recent murder of Johnny Mae Williams that happened right after Derek Todd Lee was arrested, and murders from the past 10 years that don't connect to him. In their investigation, they noticed that in addition to her hands being cut off, Johnny also has a marking on her neck indicating a ligature was used to strangle her, much like the 1999 murder of Catherine Hall. And what's also similar to Catherine Hall's death is that a hair was found on the body of Johnny Mae Williams that didn't belong to her. So the hair is stored as evidence in hopes that maybe one day they can the hair can lead to the killer. This is, before DNA was used to actually match people.
They were just like, this could hopefully potentially help in the future.
Like 1999, some of our listeners weren't alive yet.
I don't want to talk about that right now. Georgia.
I'm just saying they don't know what, the fact that DNA.
I don't care.
It wasn't a given.
I know. They live in a world where the internet, DNA,
phones,
and
phones.
Cell phones were always from history, always existed.
Which sounds awful. You guys are at a disadvantage, and we acknowledge that. Like, it sucks.
But then going the other
DNA.
way.
I mean, phones and the internet. DNA
Phones and the internet. But they must think of us in our childhood and go, that's the most pathetic thing I've ever heard about.
How boring are they?
How did you do this? How did you write one paper?
I went to like Easter, whatever, my mom's birthday lunch with my family yesterday. And my now 14-year-old nephew, Micah, could not be more of a Celentine who, when he's not on his phone, looks so miserable. Like, you're almost like, get on your phone, please. You're bumming everyone out.
It's the old junior high / freshman year of high school. Oh, you wanted me to be a bright, shiny, magical child? Well, a load of good that did me.
Right.
So watch this. Now we're going in reverse.
He hasn't figured out how to fake it like the rest of us do. We all want to be that Celentine. I want to be on my phone too.
But he's the only one that gets to be. Like, he only has about a year or so more of this before it gets real old. So it's like, do it while you can.
Like, go to El Coyote and like eat your food and laugh at the jokes. Like, you don't have to.
But parents' jokes are so painful when you're 14. Everything. It's just like being there is awful. It's humiliating.
Awful. It is. It is.
And you see somebody your age and then they see your family and you're like, oh my God, don't tell anyone you saw me here.
I'm the only person with a family and they're so embarrassing, except Auntie Georgia and Uncle Vince, who are the coolest fucking people in the world. Okay. So then fast forward, like that's 1999 when they're like, maybe this hair will lead to something. Fast forward to February 27th, 2004. So 5 years later, the body of 43-year-old Donna Bennett Johnston is found in a drainage canal by two people just walking their dog.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's just 3 blocks away from her own house where she's found. And like Catherine Hall and Johnny Mae Williams, she's found nude with postmortem cuts on her body. And the police realize there's a good chance that these 3 murders are connected. So in March of 2004, Captain Brian White of the Baton Rouge Police Department leads the task force investigating the unsolved murders. They're like aware that there's another serial killer out there. He has his forensics team search the site where Donna Bennett Johnston's body was discovered. And like with both Catherine Hall and Johnny Mae Williams, DNA is again found at the scene, believed to belong to the murderer. So then on March 13th, 2004, police analyzed the hairs found on all 3 of the victims' bodies. All those profiles turn out to be the same. So police now know they are looking for a lone white male who's responsible for all 3 murders. But here, okay, so forensics, it's amazing. It solves everything, right? But the key break in the case comes from a member of the forensic team who notices, this is detective work, a tire track left in a moist part of the road near where Donna Bennett Johnston's body was found. He takes a photo impression of this simple tire track and goes to a local car dealership and he compares the tire treads until he finds a match.
Wow.
The tire brand, it's a Goodyear AquaTread 3, you know, your favorite brand of tires.
Oh, I love a lot of Goodyears, but the AquaTread 3 is excellent for my lifestyle.
It was sold to about 100 people in the Baton Rouge area. This is so crazy. Okay, investigators do track down 2 men. Like, they start going through the list of people who had bought it. They find these 2 men who owned these tires, and they appear suspicious. It's a father and son, and they live together. And they admit to knowing one of the victims, and I just don't understand this. Her purse is even found at their home. It's not them. They check her DNA. I don't understand the story. Like, you can't find details online. It's like, what?
Well, but also it's like, if this is a small town in this part of Baton Rouge or this specific area or whatever, it's like, that is the truth of coincidence that sometimes does happen. Sometimes.
Maybe they found her purse while walking their dog or whatever, but they also knew her because it's a small town. Like, I just don't have an explanation why the purse was there, but it's not them 100%.
Right. It's like the most suspicious thing that can be found in their home, and it's not them. Wow.
Well, thank God for DNA, because, 5-10 years earlier, they would have absolutely been arrested and prosecuted for this.
Right. Or, well, but again, that would have been
circumstantial evidence.
Yeah. So may not have held up in court. Those are those moments where we always get frustrated as the laymen reading these stories over and over, where it's like, how did they not go to jail or whatever?
Yeah, but what are the chances?
But that's just it. It's like the law allows for those chances and says those chances do exist in reality.
Yeah.
So you can't just have circumstantial evidence.
Yeah. Okay. But then if you're going to argue that, like, what if they had, violent criminal backgrounds?
That's why you don't hit people. I told you this.
I'll stop. Okay.
You got to stop hitting people in public.
It's my favorite, though. Okay. So that lead is ruled out. So Captain White's task force split up the remaining tire owners list and painstakingly questioned each one, hoping to find their killer. Finally, one of the officers, Detective Todd Morris, interviews someone who, during questioning, puts himself at the scene of the crime on the night of the murder. That man is Sean Vincent Gillis. And obviously I said his middle name, so he is a serial killer.
Right.
People ask that all the time, like, isn't it crazy that they have 3 names? And the answer is no. They use the middle name so that random Sean Gillis guys from Utah or whatever aren't like attacked on Facebook for being a serial killer.
Yes, exactly. Right? The one thing that might be able to delineate you from somebody else is the name Lee.
Right.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So let me tell you a little about Sean Vincent Gillis. He's a lifelong resident of Baton Rouge. He's born June 24th, 1962. So what is that? A Leo? Cancer.
June 24th? Is that a Gemini?
No, thank you. It's not.
Okay.
He's not one of
No,
us.
thank
you. We don't want that. Shortly after he's born, his father bails on the family. All the same shit you hear. He racks up a DUI, numerous traffic citations, cannabis possession, and a contempt of court charge. By the 90s, when Sean is in his late 20s, early 30s, he gets work as a computer programmer, but his drinking and drug use become too much of a problem and he loses his job. So he's just kind of like a loser flake. He looks like a Jeffrey Dahmer type. He's got the mustache and the glasses and the nerdy haircut and just kind of, he looks like Ned Flanders.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But also it sounds like if he could I could not get a job as a computer programmer. That's not easy. He must have been smart in some ways. So he had a serious personality disorder, basically.
Yeah. And it's like, he had no violent criminal history. So it is just kind of out of the blue. And so in 1994, he also has a girlfriend, a longtime girlfriend.
They always do. They always do.
Mm-hmm. He starts dating a young single mother named Terry, and Terry works the midnight shift at a local convenience store, which just happens to be located across the street from St. James Place, the retirement home where 81-year-old Anne Bryan lived before her murder in March 1994. So he was just sitting there staking out the place.
Yeah.
So he's brought in for questioning. He's calm and nonchalant. And in the documentary Butchers of the Bayou on A&E, they show some of his interview. And I mean, like cool as a cucumber. Like almost like this is a card game they're all playing, drinking beers or whatever. It's like not a big deal to him.
Lizard person.
Lizard, yeah. So he admits to knowing Johnny Mae Williams and says she's even been inside his house and his car before. Police proceed to question Sean for 4 hours and he just lets it happen. As time wears on, they're confident that this is their killer, but they lack a confession or any hard evidence against him. And so they're forced to let him go, but they do manage to get a DNA swab before they release him. And he just
gives it up.
Yeah. So then police covertly surveil Sean at his home because they're like, we need to keep an eye on this guy. It's clearly him. Then the DNA results come back and it's a perfect match for the hairs found at 3 crime scenes, those of Catherine Hall, Johnny Mae Williams, and Donna Bennett Johnson. Thank God they're keeping an eye on him. And so as soon as it comes in positive, before the sun comes up on April 29th, 2004, a SWAT team forces their way inside Sean's home and places him under arrest for the first-degree murders of Catherine Hall, Johnny Mae Williams, and Donna Bennett Johnston. Police search his house, where he lives with his longtime girlfriend and her teenage daughter. who like gets along great with Sean. They thought he was a normal dude. They find in the house knives and hacksaw blades suspected to have been used as murder weapons, several heavy-duty zip ties, and a collection of true crime books detailing other murders. They even find a belt that belonged to Donna Bennett Johnston and an earring in the trunk of his car that belonged to another one of his victims, along with blood in the trunk's interior. And even the kitchen floor baseboards are confiscated by police, as forensics show they are saturated with blood residue, meaning he had murdered at least one of his victims in his own home when his girlfriend and her daughter were out of town.
Wow.
Yeah. But perhaps the most horrifying things they found were post-mortem photos of his victims stored on his computer and digital cameras. They had tons of images. He also looked into Derek Todd Lee's murders. So he felt competitive against the other serial killer who was killing in Baton Rouge at the same time as him. And when Derek Todd Lee got one murder over him, he went out and killed so that he could, he felt like a competition.
Oh my God.
This guy, I mean, yeah. So as soon as the police described the evidence against him, Sean Vincent Gillis confesses to 8 murders in total in vivid, gruesome details, casually. Captain Brian White said, once that floodgate was open, you just couldn't stop him. Quote, he wanted to tell you every detail of every one. It was a game. In total, there are more than 34 hours of Gillis speaking to the police. 34 hours.
Wow.
However, because he asked for an attorney during the interview at one point, his detailed confessions were inadmissible during trial. So even though Sean confesses his guilt, even throwing in a guilty plea in 2007 for the second-degree murder of his victim, Joyce Williams, he still goes to trial for the 3 first-degree murder charges beginning in July of 2008. Despite his open confession to all 8 of his murders, there's only hard evidence enough to convict him of the 3 he's initially charged with. When it comes time for his sentencing, the jury can't agree on whether or not he deserves the death penalty. Remember, they couldn't listen to his confessions, his casual confessions.
Oh, right.
So they only had this information. They wind up deadlocked, and the judge sentences Sean to 3 consecutive life sentences in July of 2008. Sean is taken to the Louisiana State Penitentiary, where he remains today. And that is the story of the other butcher of the bayou, Sean Vincent Gillis. The main sources used in today's story include, again, the 4-part A&E documentary, Butchers of the Bayou, episode 3 of season 2 of the investigation discovery series, The Devil You Know, and an article from Oxygen by Joe Jemianovich. And the other sources are listed in the show notes.
Oh, I so regret clapping. I so regret clapping.
I know what you meant. It's like when we're doing live shows and they clap when we say who we're doing. It's that thing.
Yeah. It's just I want the other shoe to finally drop, and I want to know the rest of this story because it was a true cliffhanger. But
that's this podcast.
That's this whole podcast is I wish you hadn't told me that.
Right.
That actually should be the name of this podcast. Wow. Incredible. And to be not only a policeman in Baton Rouge at this time, but just to be an average citizen that makes the huge mistake of taking a walk by the river or anything.
Goodbye.
What a scary, awful thing.
Goodbye. I would move immediately. Not that there's anywhere safe because, look, listen.
No. I mean, it would seem like it's all around you at that point.
Yeah. Ugh.
Good Lord. Oh, well, good job.
Thank you.
Capture your favorite summer feeling with Pandora Jewelry.
Discover a collection inspired by the sunshine, freedom, and unforgettable moments that make the season so special.
Whether you're planning a weekend getaway, gathering with friends, or simply soaking up every sunny day, Pandora Jewelry offers meaningful pieces designed to celebrate your unique story.
From sun-kissed metals that catch the light beautifully to personalized pieces ready to be engraved with your summer mantra, every detail is crafted to help you express yourself with confidence and style.
Explore charms, bracelets, rings, necklaces, and more, thoughtfully designed to complement every adventure and occasion.
Each design moves with you, from beach days and road trips to rooftop dinners, golden nights, and every memory in between.
Layer your favorite looks, mark life's meaningful moments, and create lasting reminders of a season you'll never want to forget.
Find the pieces that reflect who you are and where this summer takes you.
Shop Pandora Jewelry's new summer collection in-store or online at pandora.net and let your summer unfold.
Goodbye. The right piece of furniture can completely change your room.
And your life. It's amazing what one good couch can do for morale.
And that's why there's Article.
Article makes it effortless to create a stylish, long-lasting home at an unbeatable price.
They take great care in curating their collection, focusing on pieces that stand the test of time. There's no filler. Every item is chosen for its craftsmanship, design, and lasting value.
And with Article's 30-day satisfaction guarantee, you can shop with confidence, knowing that if you're not completely in love with your new furniture, you can easily return it.
I recently needed to replace my old outdoor dining room table and chairs, so of course I went straight to Article. They have the Sarik outdoor dining set. I got it in khaki green. It's such a cute, like minty green. It looks so good in my backyard. I can't wait to have alfresco dinners all summer. You know, we can carve pumpkins on it in fall. It's so beautiful. Article knocked it out of the park once again.
Article's offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more.
To claim, visit article.com/murder, and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout.
That's article.com/murder for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more.
Goodbye. Summer's for adventures, road trips, and adding a whole lot of miles to your car.
That's why it's worth stopping at Valvoline Instant Oil Change first.
If you need an oil change, make the smart stop at Valvoline Instant Oil Change before you hit the highway.
Their trained techs can help you get road trip ready with an oil change and an 18-point maintenance check included with every oil change, checking your tire pressure, wipers, lights, and more.
That means they're checking important things before you're halfway to your aunt's house with no cell service.
And these aren't just any techs. Valvoline Instant Oil Change techs complete over 270 hours of training, so your car's in capable hands.
The best part, you can stay in your car and you're in and out in about 15 minutes.
So before your next long summer ride, pull into Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Change wisely.
Goodbye. All right. Let's take a hard left. Not only away from the bayou and America, but back in time to a little place I like to go when I'm feeling blue called Victorian England.
Yeah, the smells. The smells.
The smells. Oh my God. I am following some mudlarkers on TikTok.
So good.
And I think it's a woman because it looks like a woman's hand that picked it up. The other day it was just this close up on, you know how the gravel, it's gravel, but then you look at it and you're like, there's a penny.
Yeah.
There's a ring. It's like chock full of stuff.
I read a thing that was like, when you look at the gravel, that nature doesn't have perfect shapes. So when you're looking at a bed of rocks or whatever, look for the perfect circle, because that doesn't exist in nature. So like you have to focus your eyes on that, or unfocus your eyes on that.
Right.
You know
kind
what I
of
mean?
like you have to get what you're looking out for. Well, this lady in that very way where you can tell she knows the tricks, reaches out and moves some rocks and then picks up this little blue ceramic bird. And like, I don't know why, I almost started crying. I was like, wait, what? That was just under there? And it was like underneath and kind of like hidden.
Some Victorian child's tea set toy.
A Victorian child's opium pipe that they loved so much as an 8-year-old.
Yeah,
they loved it.
It was their pay for 12 hours of work in the factory. Oh, the jolly old days.
Oh, the time. So we're going back now to Victorian England. Okay. So here's a quote from NPR describing London in this period of time to set the scene. Okay. Quote, London was infamously filthy. It had choking, sooty fogs. The Thames River was thick with human sewage, and the streets were covered with mud.
Gross.
So, yeah, there you go. These days, mudlarking is a much cleaner event than I bet it would have been back in the day. This is also a period during British history where the public is very concerned about crime. The income gap between rich and poor is stratospheric. Theft and vandalism are up from previous decades. And the newspapers and tabloids run headline after headline detailing grisly, sensational murders taking place across the nation. But before Jack the Ripper terrorized Whitechapel, There was another Victorian murderer who stunned, horrified, and transfixed the British public. So much so that a sculpture of her was put on display at Madame Tussauds Wax Museum before she was ever convicted of her crimes. This is the story of murderer Kate Webster.
Fuck.
So the sources used today are from a 1925 book called The Trial of Kate Webster, edited by Elliot O'Donnell. The Murderpedia page for Catherine Webster. Shout out to Murderpedia,
So
still
good.
going strong after 8 long years.
Excellent.
And the book Victorian Murders by Jan Bondison. And Jan Bondison, that name might sound familiar to you and I because he was heavily cited in the Boy Edward Jones packet.
Good one.
The little creep that snuck into the palace.
That was a classic.
The greasy little creep. And the rest of the sources are in our show notes. Come back with me now. The story begins in 1849 when Catherine, who will end up going by Kate Lawler, is born in a small, remote Irish village. We don't know much about her childhood except that she comes from a farming family. And although the Lawlers belong to the lower class, they're described as, quote, respectable people. But little Kate's trying to change all that. She is described as having a very intense appearance.
What does that mean for a child?
I think I'm going to show you, but it's so funny. Like, I wish there were, obviously back then, and especially for poor people, there was no
selfies?
Pictures. Yeah, there was no nothing. That was back when you had to like pose for 15 minutes for a picture. But
let me see.
This was a little girl who was so creepy looking that she put people on edge.
Oh, honey. That can't go well for the beginning of your life.
I don't think it makes you love the world.
No. Go to our Instagram if you want to see it.
Now this, I'm just showing you, this is the wax figure that was at Madame Tussauds.
Okay. Yeah. There's like a Willem Dafoe aspect to it.
It's a look into the hypnotic eye. There's that vibe.
They went heavy on the eyeshadow, and there might be some, what's that cheek thing called that you get when you get your cheeks hollowed out?
Oh, the buccal fat removal?
Buccal fat removal.
She may have gotten that. But also, she has the thing where her irises don't go, there's white on the bottom of her eyes.
Right.
And she probably, if she gets mad, there's white on the top of her eyes.
Ooh.
Move away from that area if you ever experience that in the real world. Okay, so imagine that as a child. Then those eyes would be like 3 times larger.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. She didn't stand a chance.
Oh, okay. They say she has a, quote, particularly sinister face with dark gleaming and slightly oblique eyes.
Hurtful.
End quote. Or maybe they're just on edge because Kate indiscriminately pickpockets and steals and is constantly in trouble with the law.
Who among us?
Truly. But it feels to me like she has a very young sociopath or psychopathic vibe about her, where she's just kind of like, you know what, fuck all y'all.
Yeah.
And she's a big liar, and she lies either to get what she wants or to get out of things she doesn't want to be happening, to get away with things. Mm-hmm. When she is later asked about her childhood, Kate will often claim that she married a man named Captain Webster in her early teens, and that they had 4 children who, along with the captain, all died by the time she was 15 years old.
What the fuck?
Now, given the math, most historians think this is probably a made-up story, and that Kate simply wanted to get a new last name to distance herself from her long childhood criminal record, while at the same time garnering sympathy for being a bereaved wife and mother. And it's such an implausible story when you hear it, but then it's like, it kind of is a credit to probably how convincing she was, that as insane as that story was, it stuck around.
Yeah.
Because she probably made a couple people believe it. Elliot O'Donnell, who edited the 1925 book Trial of Kate Webster, has said, quote, she was astonishingly self-possessed, had a wonderful control of her facial expression, and had extraordinary aptitude for grasping situations and getting out of difficulties. Sociopath.
Got it. Yeah.
So Marin left me this note. Note to Karen, on the point about Kate's alleged dead husband and children, it's not technically impossible to have 4 kids by the age of 50.
Yeah. You know what? I don't think anyone was like shocked by that, because it was like everyone at 15.
Back then?
Yeah. You're an old maid at like 20.
Yeah, you're a child bride at 12 and you're washed up by the time you're 20, but there's just no evidence to support it.
Yeah.
So when Kate is 15 years old, she's arrested on larceny charges and sent to prison in Wexford, Ireland. It's unclear how much time she spends behind bars there, but when she's released, she goes right back to stealing. By 1867, she's in her late teens and she's stolen enough money to buy a one-way ticket out of town. Her family are completely worn out by her and her eyes and her constant arrests and her scandals. So I almost made Georgia spit on her microphone. So they encourage her to move to Liverpool for a fresh start. And so she does.
Beautiful Liverpool.
Just go start again in one of the most forgiving and refreshing cities in all of England, Liverpool.
You love mud, right? Because I've got a place for you.
And Marin then notes, at this time, Ireland is a part of the UK.
Ah, okay.
Just FYI. So once in Liverpool, Kate falls in with other street criminals, and before long, she is once again in trouble with the law. In 1868, just before her 20th birthday, she's caught stealing. This time she's convicted and she's sentenced to 4 years in prison. When she gets out from that stint, she finds herself under constant surveillance from the Liverpool police. So she decides to ditch Liverpool and head down to London, where she cycles through her first round of fake names, Kate Webb, Kate Gibbons, etc. Surprisingly, Kate's first few years in London are actually very quiet. She later claims that she was doing her best to keep on the straight and narrow during this period, but she pops back up on the radar in 1873 when she's around 24 years old. And that's after she moves into a home in Hammersmith and becomes friendly with a family named the Porters. They live next door. And Kate tells the Porters she's a domestic worker who's currently out of a job. For obvious reasons, she doesn't bring up her criminal past.
Sure.
So Kate then begins a relationship with a man who lives in Kingston. And after becoming pregnant with this man's child, she moves in with him. We don't know much about this man or about the baby, including their names. And Kate herself only identifies the child's father as Strong or sometimes as Mitchell. And no one knows if those are last names or nicknames or anything. What if your nickname was Mitchell?
Or Strong. Your nickname's Mitchell.
Mitchell. But this boyfriend is described as a shady character who, according to Kate, eventually walks out on this family. When Strong leaves her, Kate says she has no choice but to start stealing again, saying, quote, "I became very impoverished, forsaken by him, and committed crimes for the purpose of supporting myself and my child," end quote. Which, of course, very common in Victorian England. Things were bad, as was it NPR at the very beginning said, is a rough town. And everyone's just trying to get by.
The book, The Five, about the 5 confirmed victims of Jack the Ripper, talks so much. I mean, the workhouses, you just had no chance.
If you slipped under that kind of like speeding train of poverty in England, you were done. And the cycle of like, and very understandable cycle of drinking to get rid of the stress, drinking after an 18-hour day in the steel mill or wherever the hell. It was just, people got eaten up. And so I loved that book.
So The Five is by Haley Rubenhold, FYI.
Yes. Great book. Please read it. So on March 4th, 1875, when Kate's 26 years old, she's picked up by the police once again. And this time she's handed an impressive 36 larceny charges, and she's sentenced to 18 months in prison. And then in February of 1877, just after she gets out of prison from that stint, I don't know that many synonyms for stint.
Stint sounds good.
Stint's pretty good. She is arrested again and sentenced to another 12 months behind bars, all for theft. And so Kate and Strong are now both out of the picture. So the couple's young son is raised by a woman named Sarah Crease, who met the couple while they were living in Kingston. So Sarah and Kate aren't friends, but Sarah sees Kate struggling and feels really sorry for her. And in 1878, when Kate has served out her latest sentence, Sarah tries to set her up with a legitimate job. At first, she invites Kate to come along with her on her own cleaning gigs because she's, somebody's maid. And then she asks her employer, a woman named Miss Loader, if Kate can cover a few shifts for her here and there. Miss Loader eventually takes a liking to Kate and connects her with a friend that's looking for a full-time live-in maid. And that woman's name is Julia Martha Thomas. So clearly, Kate's like, I gotta get it together. I have a kid. I'm in London. I can't be in jail all the time. And so it seemed like she was like, I'm going to be a lady's maid like so many people are.
Yeah.
So Julia Thomas is in her mid-50s. She has outlived 2 husbands, and she lives alone in a semi-detached apartment in a large stone villa in Richmond, which is in southwest London. This is far from the hustle and bustle of the city center. Julia's home is surrounded by gardens. It's on a relatively quiet street with just a few houses and one business nearby. It's the pub next door, and it's called the Hole in the Wall. So according to the people who knew her, Julia has an interesting personality. You know what that means.
Fun.
She's described as, quote, distinctly eccentric and, quote, easily roused to wrath. And despite being middle class, she reportedly likes to present herself as being very rich by wearing lots of jewelry and fine silk dresses.
If you put them all on at once, you look really rich. All your jewelry.
Yeah. And then you act real eccentric.
Real roused to, what was it? Roused to anger? What was it?
Roused to wrath.
That means the bitch liked to fight.
Yeah. Julia's out in these streets with her fine silk dress. It's suspected Julia Thomas hires Kate simply because it sounds aristocratic to have a maid.
Sure.
It's not clear that she actually needs one. Another thing about Julia, she's reportedly very, very rude to the people that she hires to work in her home. When Kate starts her maid duties in early February of 1879, she seems to get along with Julia well. So for several days, Kate doesn't say anything negative about her boss, only that she's grateful for the opportunity to work. But then somehow everything goes sour very quickly. And by the end of her first week, Kate says, quote, at first, I thought her a nice old lady, and I hoped I might be comfortable and happy with her, but I found her very trying, and she used to do many things to annoy me during my work. When I finished my work in my rooms, she would go over it again after me and point out places where she said I did not clean, showing evidence of a nasty spirit towards me. So, according to people who've written about this case, Julia's nitpicky attitude towards Kate results in Kate being very chilly, if not outwardly hostile toward her boss. In fact, it's said that by the end of Kate's first week on the job, Julia is afraid of her maid. And because of this, she fires her.
Okay.
Which is, fair's fair. It's like, you're kind of acting like an asshole. And then the person that you hired doesn't like that. And then you're like, oh, no, I don't like this. So then you're like, okay, this whole thing isn't working out. It's how it is sometimes. But Julia doesn't want any trouble, so she tells Kate that she can keep living in her house and continue working for her until the end of the month, and makes Kate's official last day Friday, February 28th. She doesn't feel great about this arrangement that she has concocted. She's already super uncomfortable living with Kate. According to Elliot O'Donnell, quote, Miss Thomas tried her hardest to get someone to stay with her. She asked several members of the church she attended, and on their refusing, eventually succeeded in getting a lady and her daughter to lodge with her for a fortnight.
What do you think happened in those couple days? Like someone snapped.
Like intense fighting. Probably Julia, the lady of the house, thought she could kind of do what she wanted.
Right.
And she came up with Kate, who's like, no, I do what I want.
Yeah, and they butted heads.
And they seriously butted heads.
Yeah.
And maybe like Kate at that point was so kind of street worn.
Yeah.
That she went street real fast.
Right.
And Julia was like, I thought I was.
Yeah. She's used to people like kowtowing to her, probably, Julia.
Probably because if you think about that like British politeness thing where like you don't raise your voice, and it's like it's super crazy to raise your voice.
Yeah, especially to someone rich and, aristocratic and shit.
Pretending to
Your
be rich.
boss. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's very interesting though. I'm reading a lot into Julia not being able to get anybody to come and stay at her house.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, Julia, no.
Yeah, they're like, you are the most high maintenance, and you now I go there and you're going to yell at me like you yell at the maid.
Yeah, or like you always panic about something.
Yeah. So eventually Friday the 28th rolls around, and as planned, the mother and daughter leave like they said. You got me for 2 weeks, that's it, or a fortnight. But not Kate. Kate asks if she can keep boarding there through the weekend, complaining that it's too hard to find short-term lodging on a Friday or a Saturday. Mm-hmm. She says she'll have a much better shot at leasing a new place at the start of the next week when there's less demand, more vacancies. It's unclear if Julia feels sorry for Kate or if she's just afraid of her. Either way, she agrees to let Kate stay through the weekend. Not good. So finally, it's Sunday, Kate's last day working and in the house. Even though the two women don't like each other, they both know they don't like each other. Kate's just carrying out her normal duties that day. Everything seems to be fine. Except, as part of their work agreement, Julia always gives Kate Sunday afternoon off on the condition that Kate has to return in the early afternoon so she can help Julia get dressed for evening church services. Mm-hmm. But not today, as you would imagine, as I would also do.
Yeah.
I'm not coming back to fucking help you on my last day
of work. I'm done. You can't fire me more.
You can't fire me. I quit. So Kate is next door at the hole in the wall, drinking at that pub.
Got it. Easy to find.
Mm-hmm. She getting drunk, chatting up the other patrons. She is not concerned about the time. When she finally does decide she's ready to go, she stumbles back over to Julia's house. Julia has not left for church yet. And Julia is furious. She wastes no time reprimanding Kate for keeping her waiting. But at this point, as we well know, Kate's not having it because she's drunk. According to Julia herself, who would later confide in her fellow church members, quote, Kate flew into a terrible passion. Kate becomes absolutely enraged and hurls every insult and curse word in the book at Julia. This absolutely freaks Julia out. So she gets dressed by herself and then just runs out of the house and runs to church. Mm-hmm. Surprisingly, after the service, Julia heads straight home. And as far as we know, she doesn't make any attempt to have somebody come back to the house with her. So all those church people who were talking about it afterwards, like, she didn't go around and go, will you please come back with me and help me get this crazy maid out of my house?
I wonder why.
Well, it says on this piece of paper, maybe Julia thought that Kate would have calmed down by then.
Right.
Or even better, that she would have just taken her shit and gotten out.
Right. That was the end of it. Yeah.
She could have been in a full fantasy of like, that's over.
And that was it.
She yelled, we're done. But when Julia does arrive home, she finds neither seemed to be the case. And here's what happened next. According to Kate Webster herself, quote, upon her return from church, before the usual hour, Mrs. Thomas came in and went upstairs. I went up after her and we had an argument, which ripened into a quarrel, which I didn't realize quarrel was one above argument, but apparently it is.
Yeah.
Which ripened into a quarrel. And in the height of my anger and rage, I threw her from the top of the stairs to the ground floor. She had a very heavy fall. I felt that she was seriously injured and I became agitated at what had occurred, lost all control of myself, and to prevent her screaming and getting me into trouble, I caught her by the throat, and in the struggle, she was choked and I threw her on the floor.
She was choked. No. You choked her
to death. Julia Morgan is dead. Kate Webster killed her.
Wow.
So Kate, of course, immediately starts covering her tracks. In my least favorite way, these true crime stories always have. If you do not like grisly things, you're going to want to dip for about a minute and a half.
Well, you shouldn't have listened to my story either.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. If you're still upset from Georgia's story, it gets worse.
Is there a post-trigger warning? Is that a thing?
Yeah, do those help at all? Kate proceeds to dismember Julia's body, boil her limbs and torso on the kitchen stove.
Whoa.
And burn her organs in the oven. She would later say her goal was to shrink the remains so they'd be easier to get rid of. She cleans up all the blood around the home from dismembering her boss in her own home. And then she puts Julia's remains into a big wooden box. And everything fit except for one of Julia's feet and her head. So she keeps those outside this box.
Oh my God.
It's a big wooden box that's incredibly heavy. And Kate realizes that she's going to have to move it, but she needs more time to figure out how she's going to do that. So she just closes it up and she doesn't put it aside because it's really heavy, but just like that's going to go there for a while. She has snapped.
Yeah.
In a big way. And then she takes Julia's foot, her severed foot, to a nearby garbage dump and tosses it onto the garbage heap, which is so Victorian England. Or at least the way, I shouldn't say that because there'll be 1,000 historians being like, actually, no, it wasn't. But I picture that you walk down the street and there's old kind of falling down houses and antique stores and stuff. And then just to the left, there would just be a big, 3-story pile of garbage.
Yeah, heaps of garbage everywhere.
Heaps of garbage here and there.
Yeah.
They hadn't learned yet to put it outside the city limits.
Right, into the Thames.
Yeah.
Where we can now dig it up.
Where we can mudlark the fuck out of it now.
Exactly.
Then she puts Julia's head into a large handbag. I think I was talking about all the other stuff because it just gets worse, of course. She puts Julia's head into a large handbag, a bag that witnesses will later report seeing Kate leave Julia's home with. It's gruesome, it's horrible, and it is, it's a part of all of these stories that we get to, and then we go, why did we start out on this journey in the first place? Mm-hmm. But I think we do it for this reason, to talk about what is this escalation that Kate just experienced between lifelong larceny of just I just want what I want when I want it, to the serious, gruesome murder and dissection of her boss. That's so extreme.
To have that in you, it's how have you had that in you your whole life? And it comes out now. And it's scary to think that there are people out there who do have that capability in them.
And is it all of us because is that also a human capability? If some of the humans can do it, do all the humans have the capability?
I mean, I think that's what's so fascinating. One of the things that's fascinating about true crime is is that in all of us? Or is that nature, nurture, or circumstance, or what? I
just don't think when they get to the problem solving point, which to me is the point of no return.
Yeah.
Where they're I'm going to cut up a body.
Right.
That I can't ever go there. Do you remember the movie Shallow Grave?
No.
It was a huge 90s movie. It was so good. And they have to kill a roommate and then they cut the body up. And I'm in the movie, I was just no.
Well, can we go even further back? And that her solution for having shoved this person down the stairs and not wanting to get in trouble for that was to then kill them. That's where I'm no. That's not how you don't get in trouble for hurting someone.
Well, and also, doesn't it sound like part of a lie where it was the truth is she snapped and went berserk.
Yeah.
And then in retrospect, she was well, it's her fault that I did that because she was going to tell on me by screaming because I was killing her.
Right. I had to. What are you talking about?
She made me.
Yeah.
She made me.
Yeah.
Okay. Was any of that worth the trouble? I'm not sure.
We solved it. We solved human experiences.
We know why women listen to true crime now. This is incredible. So 2 days after Kate Webster kills Julia Thomas, Kate decides to pay a visit to her old neighbors in Hammersmith, the Porters. She hasn't seen them in several years, and she hasn't stayed in touch. So the Porters, who last knew Kate as a down-on-her-luck domestic worker, are shocked to see her at their door in a nice silk dress, wearing lots of jewelry.
I bet.
Mm-hmm. Kate wastes no time telling Henry Porter, the patriarch of the family, that her name is now Kate Thomas, claiming that she's been married and widowed since she's seen them, since she's lived in Hammersmith. She also claims to have recently inherited a house in Richmond from an aunt who just passed away. And it's through this inheritance that Kate says she ended up with a bunch of furniture that she has no need for. So she asks Henry if he might know anyone who'd be interested in buying it. So according to Elliot O'Donnell, Kate's scheme is obvious here. She wants to make cash by selling Julia's belongings to people who don't live in Richmond and have no way of connecting them back to Julia, because at this point, Julia is just dead and missing, but she hasn't been reported missing by anybody.
Yeah.
And I guess luckily for Kate, Henry Porter agrees to set her up with someone who might be interested in buying those things. And then Kate asks the Porters for one more favor. She needs help dropping off a box in Richmond. She claims it's a gift for a friend, but it's way too heavy for her to carry herself. Mm-hmm. So Henry's son, Robert Porter, kindly offers to help her. After returning to Richmond with Kate and picking up this very heavy box, Robert carries it all the way to a bench in the middle of Richmond Bridge, where Kate says she will be meeting her friend. And at this point, it's well into the evening. It's very dark outside. But instead of asking Robert to sit with her while she waits, Kate asks for some privacy and tells Robert to walk to the end of the bridge. And when she's done with her meeting, she'll come find him. Before Robert can even make it to the end of the bridge, he hears a big splash in the water, turns around, looks back toward the middle of the bridge, and even though it's dark, he can see Kate leaning against the bridge, and the box is now gone. He's pretty sure that Kate just threw the box into the river.
Yeah.
A little time passes. Kate meets back up with Robert at the end of the bridge. She no longer has the box. She tells him that her friend stopped by to pick it up. Robert decides he's not going to confront Kate about this. He just decides he's going to commit the whole thing to memory and talk about it to someone else. So meanwhile, Kate is living out of Julia's apartment, wearing Julia's clothing and her jewelry, and basically trying to sell anything that she doesn't want to keep for herself. Get ready if you're squeamish. This includes the gold bridge work from Julia's teeth, which Kate has pulled from her decapitated skull.
Oh, what?
So we're talking about just someone who does not care.
Yeah, like a huge...
Sociopath?
Yeah, a disconnect from
Oh, yes.
reality and human emotions.
And kind of just all business. It's very I need to get mine.
Yeah, here it is.
And here it is. So the morning after the suspicious bridge activity, Kate's heavy wooden box is spotted under the Richmond Bridge. An unsuspecting man opens it up and finds dismembered body parts inside and immediately alerts officers at the nearby Barnes police station. So these officers look through the box and they can tell that the victim is a female. They think that all of these body parts belong to one person, but because there is no head, they have no idea who it is, and they don't know how to identify the person. Mm-hmm. So it soon becomes the talk of the town, and newspapers are, of course, flooded with information about the so-called Barnes mystery. So back in Hammersmith, Robert Porter sees all this newspaper coverage and gets a very bad feeling. So he goes and tells his father about that night with Kate on the bridge and how he felt certain that she had lied about meeting a friend to hand off this gift. And instead, he thinks that she's the one that dumped that big box filled with body parts that the police and the newspapers are now describing. Before Henry Porter heard any of this from his son, he had connected Kate with a furniture broker named John Church, and John ultimately agreed to buy multiple pieces of furniture and clothing from Kate. But once he brought the items home, he begins to look through them, and he becomes very unsettled. He finds a diary belonging to someone named Julia Martha Thomas, as well as a mail that's addressed to Julia Thomas. And he suspects that he's been sold stolen goods. So he calls up Henry to tell him that. And that's perfect timing because Henry tells John about the Barnes mystery that they saw in the paper and his son's unnerving story. So all three men decide it's time to go to the police. So up until this point, Julia's neighbors have been watching as all of her belongings have been carried out of her apartment, and they have been growing concerned. It's reported that one of them even approaches Kate directly and asks her what's going on. But it's not until the police finally visit Julia's home that the terrifying reality hits. Upon entering, they discover charred bones, an axe, and a razor believed to have been used to dismember Julia's body. So now police are looking for Kate Webster. But suddenly she's nowhere to be found. On March 23rd, several weeks after the murder, Kate's description is finally printed in all the newspapers in connection with the Barnes mystery. So, of course, it becomes it's all the headlines. Kate realizes now for sure that the police are looking for her, but she has a plan. So she takes the money that she's been making from selling the furniture and the clothing, and she picks up her young son and hightails it to Ireland. But she is tracked down by British police because investigators assumed that she'd be trying to head back home. Plus, with Kate taking her son with her, she's instantly identifiable. Yeah. So on March 30th, Kate Webster is arrested and charged with Julia Thomas's murder. So, of course, this trial is a media sensation, and the line between fact and fiction becomes incredibly fuzzy. One particularly creepy and very persistent rumor is that Kate tried to sell off rendered fat from Julia's body. There's even a quote attributed to the owner of the hole in the wall saying, quote, "A day or two after the murder, Kate went around amongst the neighbors offering for sale 2 jars of fat, which she declared to be the best dripping," end quote.
Oh my God.
This story almost certainly isn't true, but basically it added to Kate being branded as the female Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, I think it's true. I'm on the jury and I think it's true.
I wouldn't doubt it, only because if she's pulling gold plates out of a decapitated head, why is that going any further? She's done all these horrible things to the body.
Totally.
Why wouldn't she?
She's not like a mastermind because she left letters inside of the furniture she's selling. She's not like,
no,
she's just doing her thing.
Yeah, she's just doing it. Okay, so alongside the nonstop and over-the-top newspaper headlines, publishers are also churning out so-called souvenir booklets recounting Kate's life, crimes, and eventual execution. Soon, street ballads and street poems are written documenting this case. But the cherry on top of the sensational coverage comes when Madame Tussaud immediately gets to work creating a wax version of Kate. And on Easter Sunday, 1879, it's put on display at Baker Street, and people flock to see the murderess's wax likeness up close.
Creepy.
So that's the picture we're going to put on Instagram for you guys of this creepy picture I showed George at the beginning. It really is. I mean, they would have to make it creepy, or they would just be making a wax figure of a lady.
Absolutely.
But meanwhile, over at the Old Bailey, Kate's trial is the hottest ticket in town. In fact, the future king of Sweden makes the long trek to London to watch the proceedings.
Murderino.
Right? A lot of fuss is made about what Kate looks like, but that also has to do with her Irish heritage coming into play and the racism about Irish people at the time. As Jan Bondison writes in the book Victorian Murders, quote, "She's described as not merely savage and shocking, but the grimmest of grim personalities, a character so uniquely sinister and barbaric as to be hardly human." So that's Jan quoting the papers at the time.
Right.
And then he says, her appearance and behavior were seen as key signs of her inherently criminal nature. Her callous lying in court caused revulsion. The anti-Irish sentiments of the time were also fueled by her crime. The denigration of Kate Webster was part of the public perception of the Irish as innately criminal.
Damn.
Yeah, the Irish weren't liked at the time. Mm-hmm. So even though the verdict is all but decided in the court of public opinion, the actual criminal case against Kate Webster is very weak. As Kate's trial drags on, police still haven't found a head that matches the dismembered remains that they have.
Well, they have other heads, but they can't match it up. Like, that's troubling.
Probably. Yeah. What the prosecution does have, though, is a lot of circumstantial evidence against Kate, but Kate is claiming she's innocent, which is the most psychopathic thing to do, right? Yeah. I didn't do any of this. I'll describe to you in detail how I did it. I didn't do it.
Right.
So on July 8th, just 6 days after the trial began, the jury hands down their verdict. Kate Webster is guilty. When asked if she had anything to say before the court, Kate once again denies killing Julia, and then she drops a bombshell. Out of the blue, she now claims to be pregnant. At first, this sends shockwaves through the British public. It's yet again another sharp turn in a rapidly unfolding real-life mystery, but Kate's pregnancy claims are soon dismissed as yet another one of her lies. A few weeks later, on the night before her scheduled execution, Kate finally confesses her guilt to a lawyer and to her presiding priest. And the next morning, July 29th, 1879, Kate Webster is hanged to death in a shed, not in view of the public, on the property of Wandsworth Prison. And her last words are, quote, Lord have mercy upon me, end quote.
Wow.
She was 30 years old.
30.
It is not clear whatever happened to her son. I think her son, like at that point, was probably, hopefully Sarah Creese took him under her wing.
Yeah.
But now we're going to fast forward. Here's a little addendum to this story
Okay.
that I think you're going to enjoy. We're going to fast forward 128 years to 2007.
Ooh.
And this is when British national treasure and naturalist Sir David Attenborough just so happens to own the property adjacent to Julia Thomas's old apartment. After all these years, the Hole in the Wall pub is still standing next door, but it has fallen on hard times. And by 2009, the pub is shuttered. So David Attenborough buys the property with the hopes of converting it into an outdoor space, complete with a greenhouse and an orchard. By 2010, Attenborough hires contractors to carry out the remodeling plan, and that October, just in time for Halloween, workers are breaking up the pub's foundation when they find a human skull.
What?
Because of the Hole in the Wall's association with Kate Webster, the skull is immediately suspected to be Julia's missing head from all those years ago.
I have chills.
According to Jan Bondison, quote, carbon dating indicated that the skull was dated between 1650 and 1880, but it had been deposited on the top of a layer of Victorian tiles. The skull had fracture marks consistent with Kate Webster's account of throwing Mrs. Thomas down the stairs and was found to have low collagen levels consistent with being boiled. It entirely lacked teeth, something that is of importance since we know that Kate Webster stole Mrs. Thomas's snappers, which is from this quote. I'm not saying snappers. That's
from 2009. Oh my God.
Yeah. Which contained a gold plate to have them sold. In July 2011, the coroner concluded that the skull was indeed that of Mrs. Thomas.
David Attenborough.
Right?
Yeah.
And so with that, with David Attenborough's remodel, that little mystery that was still left over from this horrible murder was solved. And that is the story of the Victorian era murder of Julia Martha Thomas by Kate Webster.
Wait, so did that, she like put it in the rafters, or like what's the story there? Behind some tiles? Like what does that mean?
They don't specify. I'm not sure, but it sounds like it was, if they were down breaking up the foundation, she may have figured out a way to bury it or put it like in the basement somewhere.
Yeah, like she knew the little crawl spaces and crevices in this bar she used to go to all the time. Oh my God.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Wow, that was wild. Like that is a book. That's
right.
So interesting. So interesting.
So crazy.
What was the book called that's about that?
I'll tell you. Well, there's Murderpedia. Don't forget.
Sure. The book Murderpedia.
There's the book from 1925 is called Trial of Kate Webster.
Okay.
And then the Jan Bondison book is Victorian Murders. So that's where he kind of does it's like an anthology.
Yeah.
Is that the right word? He goes over a bunch of different stuff that happened.
Yeah. I can hear the parrots, the literal parrots screaming in the trees outside of my fucking house now, which means that this episode is over. I think
that's our cue. That's our goodbye music.
There's literally, we have parrots in the neighborhood. They're like literal green parrots. Like it's such a trip that have like escaped from there, and they scream their fucking heads off.
And they're like, stop podcasting. You're driving us insane.
And if you're going to give the crows peanuts, you have to give peanuts to us too. It's only fair.
Yeah, but they're like, we want crackers. So let's change this shit up.
I'll do crackers.
Throw more good stuff.
Listen, if you want to be my friend, you can have any snack you want.
Any snack there is. Well, thanks, listener, for listening. Yeah, you're good at it.
We appreciate you using your senses to be here with us. We know it's hard in today's world. It's a slog. Jesus.
We just got one of your full-on senses for like an hour and what looks to be an hour and a half. That is generous.
And you got a bunch of hours. It may not feel like it, but you did.
Yeah, you did. You know what, listeners? Stay sexy.
And don't get murdered.
Goodbye.
Elvis, do you want a cookie?
This has been an Exactly Right production.
Our senior producer is Alejandra Keck.
Our managing producer is Hannah Kyle Crichton.
Our editor is Aristotle Acevedo.
This episode was mixed by Liana Squillace.
Our researchers are Maren McClashin and Allie Elkin.
Email your hometowns to myfavoritemurder@gmail.com.
Follow the show on Instagram and Facebook at My Favorite Murder and Twitter at My Fave Murder. Goodbye.
Calling all amateur detectives and podcast obsessives.
Virgin Voyage's second true crime voyage sets sail March 20th, 2027 for a 5-night escape to Grand Turk and the Beach Club at Bimini.
As part of the On Air at Sea collection, this immersive sailing brings together fan favorite podcasts, including Disgraceland, Buried Bones, and Wisecrack, for live recordings, behind-the-scenes access, exclusive meet and greets, and crime-themed programming that you won't find anywhere else.
All aboard our award-winning, kid-free ships.
Head over to virginvoyages.com/truecrime to secure your spot.
Goodbye. In the summer, healthy habits are easy to keep until you leave the house.
You walk out the door, and the next thing you know, you're barefoot and feral in a gas station candy aisle.
That's why Kachava makes it easy to maintain your routines.
Kachava is an all-in-one nutrition shake, and now it comes in new travel packs.
Every packet gives you a simple shake with protein, fiber, vitamins and minerals, greens, probiotics, omegas, electrolytes, and more.
They're easy to toss into a bag, easy to take on the road, and a simple way to stick with your normal wellness habits, even when your schedule changes.
Man, that Kachava matcha in the individual packs is like my dream snack. It's exactly what I need and want in between the not great meals I'm eating for lunch and the snacks I would have had anyways that are terrible for me. Like, this is something I feel like I'm treating myself when I take.
You're treating yourself to vitamins, fiber, all these things that your body really wants and needs and kind of craves that it does seem like it takes a big effort to get. So now you're getting it all in one packet and in a little drink you like.
Take your daily ritual with you.
Go to Kachava.com and use code MFM for 15% off your first order.
That's Kachava, KACHAVA.com, code MFM.
Goodbye.
Whether it's help with hormone therapy, weight management, or sexual health, every woman should have access to affordable prescription medication and personalized care that understands the whole woman. Join me, Dr. Doug Lucas, clinical lead of hormone optimization and longevity at LifeMD, along with other leading experts on the podcast Here's Something Good on Women's Health and Longevity. To learn more, go to lifemd.com/iHeart.